Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is me once again, screaming into the void of the internet. So, I got something I want to talk about. Just got home from work, but I saw a reel that my friend sent me, and it was about this rabbit hole of open relationships, right? And, just at a glance, I don't necessarily know if I've ever talked about open relationships on the channel, but I felt like it was interesting. And I actually have a interesting first-hand scenario to talk about that, right? And well, not firsthand in the sense that I'm in an open relationship, but I mean firsthand as in like I'm third party outside looking in, right? First and foremost, an open relationship. How retarded do you have to be? And I probably already got the video flagged because I just said retarded, right? Because this platform is cancer. But what I will do, and what I'm going to start doing in general, is mirroring content to Rumble. So this is going to be here on YouTube, and if it goes bye-bye, it'll be on Rumble as well, because this platform is garbage, and, I'm not allowed to hold certain people accountable, I guess, because they have hot pockets, privilege, all that good stuff. So, how retarded, and I'm just going to, follow through with it at this point, whatever, do you have to be in an open relationship as a guy, right? Think about it for a minute. Honey, you're not enough for me. Now, I need you to keep paying for me, but I'm going to go sleep with other guys while you pay for me. But you should like this. This is fine. You see, I'm sure that you can get tons of the gals too, right, honey? You see how that works? So, the rabbit hole is just like at the start. What they're telling you, okay, is to just basically ignore the voice in your head saying that this is wrong, Now, I've got my thoughts on monogamy and stuff that I'm going to share later in the video, but I find it very interesting that the first thing that they do, like all things, right? Whether it's somebody like getting into like the well of drugs where they're getting deeper and deeper, or like they start out something maybe tame, just some weed or something like, some mild shrooms, and then it just gets deeper and deeper, and they just say, hey, nothing's wrong with this. It's just a little trip and stuff like that, right? Well, nothing's wrong with this. You're just having fun. You're just exploring your sexuality. And you see all these shows, about like what is it called? Like dying for sex. Like I didn't watch it, but I heard about it. And it's throughout your culture where it's just like this disgusting debauchery and stuff like that. Like where you have let's beans that, apparently they don't like any kind of dingling, but somehow they get pregnant, right? So open relationships. It's interesting because the start, like I say, is the idea that you should ignore the jealousy. That somehow this thing that is biologically, because listen, the way that I see the jealousy thing, right? And you can say whatever you want about it, but it's ingrained in you because it's a territory thing. No matter what people want to do, at the end of the day, we're still animals. We're very smart animals, and even then I kind of wonder about that considering how people's minds are a lot of times, but we're animals nonetheless. And when it comes to relationships, both parties are going to get territorial. No matter what the gal says, who says that, oh, she's fine sharing, this air quotes high value man. She wants all of that money for herself. Okay, because that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to talk about love. I'm not going to talk about attention. I'm just going to say it like it is: the money, the resources, the lifestyle. She wants all of that for herself. And same with the guy. The guy, even if he has the ability to like sleep with tons of chicks, he would still likely prefer if those chicks were like only him. It's a territory thing. The same way that the lion has a, pride of lionesses, but he still like mainly says, hey, they're supposed to be mine and stuff like that. It's a territory thing. And there's no walking away from that any more than there's the idea that you say, well, I'm not a territorial person. I love everyone. Okay, let somebody in your house. You see what I mean? Like, it's a territory thing. It's an animal thing. It's ingrained in us to say, hey, I lay claim to this. You can say that you can never truly claim a person, but it doesn't change the fact that whether you like it or not, there is a certain biological imperative in the idea that you like to say that this person, that you're involved with belongs to you. You may not be able to own them like a slave or anything, but they belong to you, You've been with them and they're yours in a certain aspect. So I find it very interesting that they're trying to, ignore this biological imperative in their head at the start. And then always, always, always at the end of like their channel or their like Reddit post or whatever it is, they talk about how they ruined it. Like you see these people saying an open marriage, and then the husband like ends up enjoying the person that he was with open more, and she's like, "Oh, I've ruined my marriage. I think I've ruined my marriage." And I was like, "Geez, you don't think when you're openly saying I'm going to go see other people, maybe someone realizes that hey, you're not the best thing ever." Because the truth of the matter is, you talk about like freaking dating and marriage and all this bullcrap. But the truth of the matter is, when you really realize, guys, everyone that gets married has to accept that this person is not perfect. There's no such thing as a person like who is meant for you or a soulmate or anything. That's nonsense. But you accept that, hey, I think that this is one of the best things that I can find right now. And this might be the best thing that I can find, period. So I'm going to, be with this. Everyone settles when you really think about it. Everyone who gets married just accepts that, hey, we can get along, we can tolerate each other, and hopefully we can build together. Now, that usually doesn't happen these days, but I digress. That's usually like how it works to an extent, just in a simplified extent, right? But when you start opening up the relationship, when you start opening up the marriage or whatever it is, right? You're opening the door for someone to maybe see if there is something better, right? But I find it hilarious because let's be real, the person who initiates the open marriage is the same person who initiates the divorce. 80% of the marriages that initiate 80% of marriages that end in divorce are initiated by the gal. So I don't necessarily know the percentage, but it wouldn't surprise me if like that's also like the same amount of people who initiate the open relationship. It wouldn't surprise me. And what I said, that I have an interesting perspective of looking in on it from a third party view. My roommate is a prime example. I will tell you guys something right now. I have noticed 2 cars, and it's 2 different guys. It's not the same person. 2 cars, right? One will be parked in the street. One will be parked in the driveway. So this is how I know who's who and who's over here, right? And whenever they're here, they're obviously doing you know what. Now, here's the thing. She has never, and she's like, hung out with me a couple of times. She's never said that she has a boyfriend. In her mind, air quotes, they're just friends. Now, they're more than friends. Now, I don't know, again, maybe she's an escort. Maybe these are just like the only clients that she has in her house, that she's comfortable with being in her house. I don't know. I don't care. But here's the thing. Let's theoretically say, because again, she's never said she has a boyfriend and she's seeing 2 guys, right? Let's theoretically say that these are, I don't know, these are friends with benefits or something, right? 9 times out of 10, this guy, either one of them, okay, assumes that this gal is, maybe he can turn this into something permanent, right? He is not aware that, who knows? Listen, I'm not going to say that I'm waiting. I'm over here waiting because, this is just times where I see it. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, right? She could have just got through letting some guy go to Pound Town. Busting her. I don't know if they use condoms. I don't care, right? Or like she could have been going down on this guy, and then the next guy that comes in is kissing on that. Or God forbid, I'm telling you, like if you going down on these gals and you just went in there and you got some extra creamy box. Oh no, bro. Like I'm just saying, like this idea that you're just going to be okay with sharing a person, to me, is just one of the ultimate signs of like it's just pathetic on another level. The lack of self-respect to be with somebody, or at least claim that you're with somebody, even though they're openly cheating on you, to claim that it's fine that I'm taking care of this person. Oh, well, this isn't the person that I want to come home to. But you're cheating with them. Well, it's not cheating because it's open relationship. Okay, well, you're acknowledging that this person is good for the screw, but you aren't satisfied with the fact that this person is giving you a good life. So you're comfortable with the fact that, again, someone else is able to give you a comfortable life, right? But that's not enough, and you need to go get something else from someone else, right? So why should you remain in a situation where you're getting the benefits of commitment while also getting the benefits of not being committed? Listen, I'm just going to say this right now. It is obvious why guys are in this position, because they've been so whipped. They've been so whipped and they're so starved that they feel like they can't get something else. And so they make it seem like if this chick leaves me, then I'll never be able to get someone like her. But I'm like, well, why do you need her? Like, what is this desperation that you see in these guys? Because listen, I'm specifically talking from the people in, open relationships, right? Like, if you're in one, then you can clearly get another relationship. Let's just, okay. So I'm not talking about this whole like doomer space where they say I'm sub 5 and I can't get anything, which I have a myriad of things to say about that, but I'm not going to get into that. This is mainly just about people who are in relationships, okay? Like, if you're in one, that means you can get another one. You're clearly attractive enough to some extent to get some kind of girl. And so when she is opening the door for this freaking open relationship crap, and the worst part is most of the ones in the open relationship, like, I know you guys have saw that meme, like, why are people in open relationships or probably look like that? And that's the truth. Like, they've always got some kind of colored hair, obese, their piercings everywhere. Like, they always look like that. And technically speaking, my roomie, like, it's not as vibrant, but tats, piercings, colored hair. And she's wokey. She's not extremely woke, but she's woke. So, I'm just saying, literally everything that you can imagine the stereotype is, she fits the stereotype. So, yeah. I think that these people in these open relationships are just guys that have no self-respect. None at all. You really got to wonder how in the world is it a problem, for someone to just go see an escort? How is this possibly still, air quotes, illegal, right? It's illegal. But someone can openly, consistently step out on a marriage, cheat, and come back like nothing's wrong. There's no penance for that. There's nothing to give the person who is the victim of that any kind of closure. There's no fine, there's no jail time. But you're in trouble because you, as a client, purchased an air quote service, which, it's not really a service per se, but let's just call it a service, from someone offering something. And the person who usually gets, the boot is the freaking client. Not the person offering, the client. Interesting. But again, privilege, male privilege, right? I guess. But here's what I want to say in conclusion of this, because it's not going to be a long video by any means. It's not going to be a long video. These open relationships that you see, bro, I promise you that if you see anyone in an open relationship, look at them at the start and then listen to them like later on, whether it's like poly or whatever the heck they want to, because a whole bunch of people say that they're poly. Like, I don't know if you guys like see some of these channels, because there are like channels that'll like do dating profiles, and they'll just scroll through them. They aren't dating. They just scroll. They just show you like just the garbage out here, right? And the amount of people saying that, oh, they've got like 3 kids and they're in like a poly relationship. I'm like, bro, this is freaking ridiculous. Like, you're open to just having all these strangers around your children and stuff like that. Like, it just looks, they look disgusting. I'm just going to say it like that. They look disgusting. I don't know how people are so thirsty out here that they're on dating apps. Like, if you got to get out there, go get out there. Because, like, at least when you're out there and you meet somebody, you see them right then and there. There's no, like, freaking filter on the dating app and stuff like that. You just look at them in real life. Now, they got makeup, but still, like, you can at least see their freaking BMI. You could at least see their BMI. They can't hide that, so, But they just go through these profiles and they just show, like, all of these freaking abominations of people. Like, the obesity in this freaking country is insane, bro. I could never imagine myself, like, getting that big, just letting myself go. Like I can't, bro. I can't. It really makes me wonder, like, I think overall, like, considering that America has the highest obesity, like, Why the heck do people even still find a lot of gals here, attractive when most of them are just one relationship away from like just blimping up? It's wild, bro. It is wild. They talk all about this maintenance and crap, and then the moment that they get into a relationship, whether it's committed or marriage, they just blow up. They blow up. They just inflate. It's just I just can't imagine, like, because listen, most guys have admitted to being in not most guys, but the guys who have admitted to being in like a sexless marriage, just know that 9 times out of 10, like, one of these freaking gals is probably out here saying, "Oh no, I have an open marriage," and while this guy basically gets none, and he's still paying for her, and he's thinking it's cheaper to keep her, like, he's taking care of her while another guy takes care of her insides. And society is trying to normalize that. They're trying to say that you should feel fine. Listen, life is not some porn comic. It's not hentai. It's not a porn movie. Nobody is going to, who is in their right frame of mind, is going to feel like, yes, the person who I have in my life, that I am paying my bills for, that I'm paying my food for, maybe health insurance or whatever, who's also on like my tenant, not my tenant, my, who's also listed as living with me and stuff like that, right? As a spouse. The person who I may even like file taxes with and stuff like that. I do all of this with them. They're intertwined with my life on that level. But it is perfectly fine for them to sleep around. Listen, it starts with them thinking it's okay, but it never ends like that. Someone is going to get jealous because, again, like I mentioned in the beginning, it's in us. It's a territorial thing. So I think it's hysterical that all these people try and psych themselves out to convince themselves that what they're doing is not wrong, when it's very wrong. Now, I don't really care, because let me talk about monogamy for a minute. It's obvious that monogamy has clearly failed when you have instances where apparently, we have laws in place saying that your spouse, air quotes, struggle snuggled you. Really? Because usually how that really works, okay, what they're really saying is that the husbands do it. They don't say anything when the wives do it. If you were drunk and your wife, rode you while you were asleep and she conceived, they don't consider that a struggle snuggle. But if you did that or something like that, right, then that's struggle snuggle. That's what they say, right? And here's another thing. Here's another thing about that. If they were to really say that monogamy is successful, why are they so afraid of mandatory paternity testing? Because listen, okay, one man, one woman, right? So shouldn't the kids, without a shadow of a doubt, be your kids? Now, we know from observation and, the data that, no, they usually aren't the kids. Remember, France passed a law saying that they will not allow you to get a paternity test. Why? They said that it would disrupt the nature of families in that country. So they just indirectly said, they didn't have to say it with their mouth, but it's what they said indirectly, okay? Our families' rates of actual biological kids being the fathers is so low that we must pass a law to stop the trend of dads who want to know for sure. So again, don't pretend for a moment like monogamy is the best thing. I think that what we need to just accept is that people are complicated. People are complicated, especially the XX chromosomes, because for some reason they want everything and more. Those are the two things that they always want, everything and more. They're ironic because, again, it's impossible to have everything and then have more. They're never satisfied. You could give them absolutely everything and they will still want more. And they don't care if they destroy your life. They don't care if you are being robbed of kids. They don't care. So I'm just going to say this. This is why I stand on the fact that I find an escort to be more honest about what's going on. Could you imagine busting your balls? You finally feel like you have a nice position to get a girl. Maybe you get married. All of a sudden, open marriage. And then she, like, because I've noticed that this is also something that you see in the community. The people that talk about the open marriage and they talk about like how it turned into open marriage. She gave him an ultimatum: open marriage or divorce. And so the guy doesn't want to have to, lose the money and for the kids, and so he allows it. So think about it. You get the ultimatum that you're gonna let this chick sleep around, or she's gonna take your crap. So I don't really see, again, monogamy as winning. I don't really see it. I think we just need to accept that humans did certain things at certain times for a myriad of reasons. Monogamy is the best thing for children. But in today's day and age, where people don't give a rat's arse about kids and they don't have consciences, because, listen, they call kids clumps of cells and parasites. And they excommunicate them both in and outside the womb. More children have been executed than people have died in all major wars combined. It's not close. It's a death toll in the billions. The billions. And people think that's okay. It's my right. Your right that requires another person? It's your right. Reproduction requires multiple people, but it's one person's right. Interesting. But I'm just saying, these open relationships, they're doomed from the start. It starts off with somebody saying, don't listen to the voice in your head. Don't listen to your biology telling you that this is wrong. Just keep doing it. And then before you know it, they're unrecognizable. Unrecognizable. Guys, if you are going to be someone who's out here trying to like get involved and stuff like that, which I know a lot of you guys aren't, because like you're doomers and black pillars and stuff like that, but if you are, by any chance, okay, if you do get it out, if somebody ever even talks about the notion of like open relationship, it's time to go. There's no point to that, because like she's openly just saying, hey, would you be okay if I'm cheating? And unfortunately, some of these guys are so desperate that they say yes. I feel like this cuckery thing going on now is just two things. It's one, it's just guys not having a backbone, and it's two, it's just guys being so afraid to be without someone that they're willing to just become a shell of who they were, just so that this person is still with them. Screw the fact that they're not screwing them. At least I'm with them. It's vile, evil crap. It really is. But you make your bed at a certain point. You make those decisions, and you got to live with them. But I really hope that you guys do not fall for such things. I hope you guys walk with some integrity, and have some goddamn discipline. Nobody should be tolerating that kind of disrespect. Nobody. So, thanks. I know that was kind of like just out of the blue, but I really wanted to talk about that because I've been thinking about open relationships for a myriad of months. Now I wondered if I should even talk about that, but I'm not really, a guy who talks about like, the gender dynamics all the time. I do talk about them somewhat frequently, but not in the sense of like stuff I have to deal with, because I don't have to deal with them. I'm not looking, nor do I have a desire to look. So, yeah. But again, thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed listening to my crazy arse rambling. And I would like to know what your thoughts on stuff like this are. Have you any experience with something like this? Do you know someone in your life? Or maybe you have firsthand experience. And if you do, I'm not going to freaking ridicule you. I just want to know how it came to that, and how long did you stay, and if you are in a active relationship. I'd like to know. But again, thank you guys for listening. God bless. I will see you guys next time.